So I'm here at the Hillsborough show, and I'm talking to, what is your name, young lady?
Susan Kushless.
Susan Kushless. Could you spell your last name,
Yes.
please?
Kuslis.
And where are you from?
I'm from Aptos, but our store is actually in SoCal, which is California.
Okay. And so you have the bronze clock I just photographed, and you were telling me that it was held captive in the same family for a long time?
4 generations.
Well, how did you free it?
Well,
did it take some cash?
It took some cash, but it was actually a very sad story because it came to the current generation. It was a son. He looked at it and went, I don't think so. I'm not keeping this. And
Wait, the son,
sold it.
the ungrateful, no good son,
You got it.
he looked at it and he says, this thing is
Out
packing?
of here. And so that's how we ended up getting it.
Wow.
His great-grandmother
Yes.
had actually bought the clock in France.
Oh, she'd actually bought it in France.
She actually bought it in
In
France.
1860?
Yeah,
Wow.
I know. So that was
Right.
the most unfortunate thing for them, but great for
So
us.
that worked out for you because
Yeah.
you have obviously a fabulous clock.
Thank you.
Speaking of which, is there another great timepiece that you have here that
This one is also
this one here?
This one is called a boulet,
It's called a what?
a French boulet.
This one, which one are we talking? This one.
This
Okay.
one.
This is a French boulet.
Boulet.
And what do you spell boulet for the uninitiated?
Boulle.
Okay.
And it is a Napoleon III, and this one is from the 1700s. And the clock is unusual because this is tortoiseshell, and it was only used for a certain period
So this
of
is
time.
tortoiseshell, and what would it normally be? Just wood, or what makes that unusual, the fact that it's tortoiseshell?
They didn't use it for a very long period of time. They
I see.
only used it for one section at a time in the 1700s.
I see. So during the short, what decade would you say that the great tortoiseshell decade?
The Great Tortoiseshell, 1700s.
1700, but there's
The
10 decades
Right.
in there.
Is going to be toward the end of
Toward
that
the
period.
end of
Okay,
that.
so
Yeah,
so it was
so
either
it's
1780.
1780.
Well,
Yeah.
about so the most.
June 32nd
East.
of 1783.
Okay,
Oh,
But there's only
We've-
30 days in June.
well
so
we've
it's gotta
got
Oh,
we've
he's
got
the
that
one.
one.
be second then.
Well, we'll go over it. We'll make.
we'll figure that out
Yeah.
later.
You know, anytime we tell you closer than 30 years span,
Yes.
we're lying to you because we can't
There
space
isn't
it.
any-
much
unless-
closer
So
than that.
let's say when
Sometime-
you're stopped by the police and they ask your age, that there's a range of 30 years there that
Boy,
you
we
might
would that
give.
be
if you're over 200 years old, yes.
Oh, okay.
Now, part of the problem with this now, as you may know, Fish and Game is not allowing any types of animal products to be sold. So it has to be over a certain age before it can be sold.
When you say
So-
fishing game, you mean the federal or the state
State.
fishing?
State.
Because I've heard that
Yes.
the state went a little crazy,
They
Yes, they
have
did.
and that they're backtracking from the insanity that they inflicted on
Hopefully
this
they will.
industry.
Oh, I know.
Hopefully they will.
Because they were taking back ivory, and I mean, we watched it. We've seen it
You want to
happen
talk about
at auction.
non-specifics, the bigger problem you have is